Hello and welcome back to Pseudoregalia. This is Bio Enchanted, and today we'll be grabbing a few last things, because this will actually be the last video. Which I did not expect when I started recording it. There's a few things that, like, there was a couple of places where I noticed some stuff that I could grab. So here we're going in this direction because there was this. This was the one of those areas we saw those little orb things in that we didn't go to before. So let's actually see where the orb things will take us. And of course over here, it's just what the other thing goes to. It's just the exit of this little area. It's a place to fall down like an idiot in. So let's go to the actual door on the other side of it, shall we? I'm find quite a lot of these orbs in this room, because this is the big orb room. So of course it's kind of traditional in a lot of these Metroidvania type games to have at least one major room that basically makes you get really good at one particular mechanic. That's always quite fun. It's a kind of fun room to navigate because of all the bouncing off stuff. It's quite satisfying. And of course in this room I also forget a very key mechanic as well because I get so excited about the bounty orbs. This is what I made a mistake trying to kind of make the jump there, because I kind of forget that we have another mechanic that would make this a lot easier. I'll get it in a bit, don't worry. I'm not going to be stupid forever. Just a couple of rounds. And here's what I remember. We can just line up and throw our sword at the thing. You just have to be at the right height and the right angle. Of course, I also forgot how to not throw the stake but go into first person. So this whole section is just a mess right now of me just kind of frantically trying to figure out how to go into first person and being like, oh, how do I get my sword back? I can't, so I'll just have to kill myself and get it back that way. This room's kind of a mess for me. And it's just still me trying to figure out how to go into first person, so I just gave up and was like, let's just throw it. And somehow managed to hit, which is amazing. And of course we have another switch to do. We just need to aim correctly. As you can see that key right at the back of the room. And I really want that key. There we go. I do love using that dash attack, it's very satisfying. Just send yourself flying like that. So I actually thought when I first saw the key that it was going to be one of those smaller keys and get me into the rest of that theatre, but it's not, it's one of the big keys, so I'm just like, well, I've got the big key, so we might as well just see what happens. Now we have all 5 of them. So now we're here. And we're about to actually enter the final boss of this game. After a bit of a break to kind of get things together. But yeah, this has been quite a fun game. I quite like all the exploring I've been doing, although I couldn't really Apart from that one little thing above the bubble room that I didn't go back for, that's the only thing I can really think of where things could be now. Because it's such a sprawling game that I just can't possibly remember every single nook that I haven't explored yet. There's a few areas where I thought there was something and then there wasn't. So I'm really not quite sure what I'm missing, and because this game lacks a map, I can't easily find what I'm missing. The game also lacks a little percentage thing after you beat it as well, as we'll see, so there's really no way I can figure out how much stuff I'm actually missing apart from the missing holes on the inventory screen, which don't tell the full story. Here now we have a big magical bridge over towards this big magical door. There's a big part of the tower at the back as well that seems suspicious, but it might just be geometry. It looks like there's not really anything down there. So I'll take a look just in case, but it doesn't look like there's anything there. It might just be a trick though. I might have just fallen for it. Yeah, that happens because I tried to go behind the gate, but it doesn't let you. It just kind of takes straight in. I quite like the hidden hole as well. That leads straight to the arena. And here we are, the princess herself. Now this final boss fight has a lot of quite interesting attacks and stuff like that. It's quite fun to fight. But of course, because of all of the ways we have of healing, and the fact that our healing power is increasing so quickly because of the upgrades we've got, it kind of breaks this fight in two because we get so much healing juice. So we can just kind of like keep healing. It's not like Hollow Knight where it really makes it work for the healing juice. Like, doesn't let you store much of it. Here, because of how much the healing actually gives you back, it means we can just keep getting hit and then just keep hitting her back and just keep getting our health back as we do so. It's still quite a fun fight though. I quite like the princess's design. I like the music here as well, it's quite fun. Also, there's a trick to this fight that I don't figure out till the second half of it as well, which is embarrassing for me. You may be able to think of it from previous fights in the game as well, where I actually used the ability. Of course, be careful not to get your sword knocked away like an idiot. But yeah, because of those upgrades we had to our healing thing, now we heal basically a third of our health every time with the one block of our mana pool, or whatever you call it. I quite like the sound effects, so the feedback is quite satisfying. I quite like she's doing a little bit of bullet hell with some of her patterns right now as well, with like the purple orbs and things. I quite like how many patterns she has though. She has quite a lot of different types of attacks. So clearly a lot of effort was put in. It's just because of all the upgrades the game has, you can kind of outpower her eventually. Which is a shame, because, but then again, I've never really minded final bosses not being difficult, because when I'm playing a game, by the time we get to the final boss, especially if it's a long game, I'm often quite tired. And I often just kind of want to get through the final boss. So I kind of treat the biggest challenge as the penultimate boss. Because penultimate bosses being really hard is like, I know that's quite fun, but by the time I get to a final boss, I kind of just want the game to be over. And so, and it's not to say I'm not having fun fighting them, I've never really minded an easy boss because of that. Because often I just kind of I almost kind of like feel like the final boss, for me at least, is more of a denouement almost. Even though it doesn't really make any narrative sense, but you know what I mean. Like the hardest boss is almost always the penultimate boss in a lot of these kind of games. It's just this game doesn't really have any other bosses. Apparently it was getting more frantic as well though, and of course her attacks are getting more frequent and more kind of layered as well. She attacks more and more different things at once. Yeah, I get kind of careless about healing there, but even then I get so much health back. But yeah, because he's doing all those well, but here's where I realise, of course, I can hit these back as well. So I could have been hitting a lot more frequently. Of course, you only noticed that in the very final wave of the fight. So it's time to finally figure out what this game means by Pseudoregalia. And the game finally names Sybil in game as well. So yeah, the dialogue seems to kind of imply that the princess was actually dreaming in some way, and that we were kind of here to wake her up from it. And I guess that's where the pseudo and pseudoregalia comes from. She wasn't the actual princess, just kind of the dream of the princess, keeping her asleep. Because she was trying to avoid things. So now that the game's finished, I'll see you next time. And it's just me showing that there is no real way to tell how much you've missed, but I'll see you in the next project. Goodbye. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and check out my Patreon as well. Speaking of, thank you to James Rossi for supporting me on Patreon.